You're looking here at an installation at the United Nations in New York commemorating the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust. It's called the Book of Names, and it marks International Holocaust Remembrance Day. That's today. Every January 27th, the day of the liberation of the concentration camp at Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest and most notorious of the extermination camps, and more than 1 million Jews died there particularly. This monument, 8 meters long, it holds the name of about 5 million of the victims, and there are blank pages at the back for the more than 1 million nameless victims. They're going to keep this on display until February 17th and then transport it to Yad Vashem in Israel, which is the World Holocaust Remembrance Center. There are commemorations planned for this country too, right across Canada. And in many schools, there will be special presentations. The focus is on the importance of passing on the lessons of the Holocaust to the next generation in the face of what we know to be rising hatred and anti-Semitism. Deanna Sumanek-Johnson has been covering the story, and we've been running all morning your report. So glad to see you live on this very special day. Deanna, tell me a little bit more about what's planned today and the particular, I mean, you mentioned the word poignant in your reporting, the poignancy of this year's remembrance.
Thank you for having me, Heather. You know, we all know that anti-Semitism has been on the rise. In fact, studies show that it has been rising more rapidly than other forms of hatred and intolerance. And where is it rising? Well, it's rising online, on social media, in these very spaces that young people tend to frequent. So our teachers and educators are doing their best to really try to bring that lesson across, that Holocaust isn't this abstract thing that happened very long ago. And that's another thing that I think even it's the fact that there's a greater remove in time as well as in geography for young people born today from these events that happened so long ago. There are fewer and fewer Holocaust survivors who are still alive and able to go and do these in-person presentations. We are very fortunate in Canada to have some of the greatest storytellers and people who keep bringing forward their message. Pinchas Gutter is one such man. I actually met him before the pandemic in 2019, and he left such an impression on me that I will be frank with you. I emailed his wife during the pandemic just to make sure that they were okay, because he is such a treasure. And really, so you can see me wearing my mask. I'm very careful when I'm with him because really he has to be protected. And he could not wait till he felt safe enough to go and give a presentation. So today he's going to be speaking in just about an hour to a small group of students at the Toronto District School Board, just telling them his story, and then that'll be broadcast across Toronto, telecast to all the other students. Here's what Pinchas Gutter had to say about his message to the students.
I tell them about my life then, you know, what my father did, and, you know, how he educated me to become a proper individual, both as a worker and as an educated person. I started my education and my apprenticeship to become a winemaker when I was between the ages of 3.5 and 4. So I want them to identify myself as a person. And then I tell them, look, this individual, this youngster that had no ideas what can happen, it happened.
It happened, and it happened when he was 11 years old. He was living in Poland. They were rounded up by the Nazis, and him and his father were sent to our work camp, and his mother and his twin sister were killed on the spot. His father eventually was killed as well. So he was his only family member to survive, and he has kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. But he has all these other kids that he's sharing his story with.
You know, just that little clip makes you want to be in attendance to listen to that powerful message, but not everybody can have a Pinchas Gutter. So teachers have had to step in because, as you said, the numbers of survivors are dwindling. So what are teachers doing to pick up this message?
You're absolutely right, Heather. So one, we don't have very many survivors. And secondly, it depends where you live in Canada. Some cities have a very established Jewish community, great Holocaust centers. Toronto, Montreal are among those cities. Other cities don't. And I was really curious how teachers are keeping this message and this story alive throughout the year, and not just on Holocaust Remembrance Day. So I got a chance to speak to Rita Purdy. She works for a school just outside of Edmonton. And yes, they have a great Edmonton Jewish organization as well, but they don't have as many survivors who go and share these stories as perhaps we do here in Toronto. So she wanted to get educated, to learn more on how to make this message as poignant as possible. Well, she got a chance to go to Israel over the summer with the Yad Vashem organization. And here's how she puts it: what was the most important thing that she learned while she was there that she can bestow upon our students?
One of the biggest things that I learned is that we need to put the victims first. We hear numbers like there were 6 million victims in the Holocaust. And so it's important to remember that every one of those 6 million people was a person who was a mother, a father, a daughter, a son, a cousin, a grandparent, a teacher, a firefighter, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, right? They were all people that all had lives and were important.
And she says when she personalizes it like that, that has such a powerful impact on her students who are seeing these hoaxes, Holocaust denial, all kinds of stuff online, that she brings across the fact that these were kids just like you. They had hopes, they had dreams, and their lives were snuffed out all too soon. And she says that that really has an effect.
All right. Thank you so much for bringing this to us, Deanna, and thank you for coming in person.